Since time immemorial, the molten core of the Earth has been heating the surrounding layers of rock and sending underground water shooting up as geysers of steam and springs of hot water across the globe. Tap this natural resource of hot rock, steam, and hot water, and you get geothermal energy. Clean, renewable, reliable, and robust, geothermal is today perhaps the only green energy that can replace power using fossil fuels safely. It creates and supports jobs in a big way. And once the initial investment is recovered, it is a fountain of virtually free energy. Run the steam and hot water through turbines, and you get heavy-duty electricity to power entire cities and major industrial complexes. Or use it directly for ground source heat pumps, space heating, greenhouse and aquaculture pond heating, crop drying, industrial processes, bathing, cooling and snow melting. While geothermal electricity has been hogging the headlines, direct use has been spreading quickly, quietly and efficiently. Today, direct-use geothermal is heating thousands of houses, offices and other establishments in countries as diverse as the United States, China, New Zealand, Iceland, Chile, Turkey, Japan, Italy, France and the Netherlands. But it is going beyond this to revolutionize the relationship between energy, ecology and employment all over the world. Cut flowers from Kenya are among the most sought after in world markets, and the Oserian Flower Farm, one of the country's largest producers, uses geothermal energy to provide gainful employment and good living conditions to thousands of people from the local communities. The steam from Oserian's captive geothermal wells heats 50 acres of roses in greenhouses, controlling the nighttime humidity that would otherwise cause fungus to form on the plants.
By heating the greenhouses at nighttime, we're able to control the relative humidity in the greenhouse. Because without heat at this altitude, especially on very clear nights in January, February, March, temperatures drop to below 10 degrees at nighttime, quite often less than 5 or 6. And as a result of that, the plants get cold during the night. Then when the warm sun comes up in the morning and the air settles on the plants, you get condensation on the plants. That condensation obviously makes the plants wet, and the wetness creates fungal diseases. We don't spray any fungicides because we limit the relative humidity in the greenhouse to below 85%, which means in the morning we don't get any wetness on the leaves and therefore no need to spray any fungicides. So we get a direct benefit in that we don't have to incur the cost of fungicides, and we get a by-benefit in that the quality is obviously improved and therefore also productivity is improved.
So without spraying any fungicides, the company is able to ensure the quality of its blooms. Hot water from the well sterilizes the water emerging from the hydroponic farming processes, recycling it for reuse. Every day, 1 million stems from this farm go to premier markets around the world. Cut flowers are Kenya's second largest agricultural export, earning some $250 million every year. A study found that despite the fuel used for freight while transporting the flowers to markets in Europe, their carbon footprint is just 1/6 that of local European growers. And because geothermal extraction is so eco-friendly, the entire operation is located right next to the Hell's Gate National Park and by the clear waters of the pristine Lake Naivasha. Spurred by this and other Kenyan successes, other African nations such as Eritrea, Djibouti, Ethiopia, Tanzania and Uganda are also fast-tracking their geothermal programs. In the Netherlands, Geothermal is fast emerging as the preferred heating source for the country's huge greenhouse farming program, bringing fuel bills and carbon emissions down and boosting food security in the process. Farming is big business in the Netherlands, accounting for around 10% of the country's GDP and 10% of its employment as well, and geothermal is making a growing contribution to this. Ted Divestein's greenhouse, which runs on geothermal, spreads over no less than 5 hectares. Here, he produces tomatoes for export to Sweden, Spain and the UK, as well as for sale in the Netherlands itself. Dutch greenhouse farming has traditionally used natural gas for its energy needs, but Ted's success shows why geothermal is food for thought. Ted isn't the only one with a growing interest in the heat from the earth. In 2011, Teun Walsta and 3 other farmers from Westlands showed just how green thumbs could benefit from green energy. They have invested €1 million to install this geothermal plant in their neighborhood that will give them an edge over others in their farming operations. Teun grows exotic tropical plants in his greenhouse, which otherwise only grow in the rainforests of Brazil. With each of the plants grown here, selling for between €30 and €40, it's a big financial harvest, and many farmers across the Netherlands are emulating these examples.
Ja, insteek is gewoon je kosten te verlagen. Die 15% kostenstijging wat we de laatste 5 jaar meemaken, daar worden wij niet vrolijk van. Dat krijg je niet uit je product terug. Want die zit gewoon gelijk die prijs. Dus we willen gewoon reduceren in de kosten. Dus we wachten nou toch een kostenbesparing vanaf de gasprijs gezien van wat die nu is. Op rond de 20%.
With 40% of the world's geothermal resources, Indonesia has always been aware of the potential of this energy source. But large oil reserves had earlier obscured its importance. In today's changed energy environment, geothermal has been growing in importance. The country's large geothermal electricity program has great synergy with its direct use initiatives. Waste steam from the Lahandong geothermal power plant helps run the award-winning Masarang palm sugar factory, which provides employment to large numbers of local palm sugar tappers who were struggling for economic survival. Today they create a product that's a hit in the quality-conscious international market, and they've also become guardians of the rainforest, whose trees they earlier used to have to cut to process their sugar. Elsewhere in Indonesia, geothermal heat is increasingly being used for other applications as well, such as drying tea leaves for processing. In the USA, geothermal energy has many agricultural applications. Vegetables, flowers, ornamentals and tree seedlings are raised in 43 greenhouse operations heated by geothermal energy. 49 geothermal aquaculture operations raise catfish, tilapia, shrimp, alligators, tropical fish and other aquatic species.
We formed the company 2 years ago. Basically what we did, we converted existing chicken houses into fish houses, and we hope to be completed with this project by August of this year. A fantastic species in a hybrid striped bass. They take 11 to 12 months to grow out to 1.5 pounds, and this farm can produce 300,000 to 400,000 pounds annually with hybrid striped bass, and flounder take about 16 to 18 months to grow out. And with that business plan, we should be able to put out 80 to 100,000 pounds of flounder. We put towards geothermal heating and cooling. They are 90,000 BTU units each, and they only use 11 amps each as well. We also received a grant, a $45,000 geothermal grant from rural development.
Agri-industrial applications include food dehydration, grain drying, and mushroom culture. The drying of onions and garlic is the largest industrial use of geothermal energy. In Cowra, New Zealand, geothermal is used for the production of paper to print newspapers. The cellulose comes from the wood chips from the local planted forest, which are then processed into pulp with the help of geothermal steam. Examples such as this are on the rise the world over. Besides the vast potential for electricity generation, the direct use of geothermal is already meeting 4% of the planet's heating needs. Its eco-friendly nature and multiplier effect on local economies make it one of the hottest technologies on the energy horizon.